Hi friends, the message today is that you need to stop waving your Phaco probe about while you're performing Phaco emulsification in the anterior chamber to actually improve the efficacy of the Phaco procedure. Let's take a look at a gritty and determined junior consultant performing Phaco. And you see that she has a tendency to wave the Phaco probe about. Probably this is with an erroneous belief that mechanically moving the Phaco probe into the anterior chamber will enhance either the mechanical breakdown or probably improve the fluidics, and that is the reason why there is a subconscious tendency for many of us to keep moving the Phaco probe about. Is this a good idea? Does it actually help in better removal of the Phaco pieces? Now let's take look at one of the cases which I performed about a few years ago, maybe 4-5 years ago, and I seem to be doing the same thing, which is probably the reason why my consultant is also doing the same. While I'm trying to break down the nucleus fragment with my second instrument, as the fragment is impaired on the Phaco tip, there's also a lot of movement of my Phaco probe around in the anterior chamber. See how the fragments are flying around. They're not only flying around in one plane, but they are completely circulating and going all over the place. When you have a tendency to move or wave the Phaco tip in the anterior chamber, these flying fragments of course can have a very deleterious effect by damaging the endothelium. This was done subconsciously by me, and you can see a similar effect that I'm trying to do while removing the epinucleus also. Moving the probe around in such a fashion, does it actually help in enhancing vacuum? Does it help in removing the piece? The truth is, this is not so at all. So let's reason it out. In modern Phaco machines, the irrigation, the vacuum and the flow work in perfect harmonious synchronicity to maintain the AC, to create good followability and facilitate efficient nucleus fragment removal. The irrigation sleeve openings are at right angles to the bevel of the Phaco tip. This generates a coordinated convectional flow towards the Phaco tip. The flow sweeps up the fragments and propels them to the Phaco tip. This happens in peristaltic machines. In Venturi machine, it's the vacuum that generates the flow, but the mechanism is more or less the same. The irrigation flow that issues out from the sleeve is at right angles to the bevel. This creates a fluid current, and in the center of the Phaco tip, as explained by Eric Donenfleet and Jack Dodick, there is called an island of tranquility towards which all the pieces are directed. The flow is 100 times the anterior chamber volume when you have a setting of 30 cc per minute of AFR. If you don't hold the tip steady in the anterior chamber and you chase after the fragments, the flow gets disorganized, leading to chaotic non-followability and excessive chatter, or even the pieces being pushed away. In order to maximize the benefit of flow dynamics, the Phaco tip should be held steady in the center of the anterior chamber. Now let's see how this happens. In these couple of cases, I'm not going to move the Phaco handpiece or wave it around in the anterior chamber. I'm going to hold it steady and allow the natural fluidics and dynamics of the Phaco handpiece to take over. You will see that the followability is excellent. You will also see that as the nucleus fragments break down, it generates pieces that seem to flow in a very controlled fashion within a single plane, and the amount of nuclear fragments flying around aimlessly in the anterior chamber is also greatly minimized. So keep the Phaco tip steady in the anterior chamber, allow the Phaco fluidics and dynamics to take the course of action, because that's the way in which the entire Phaco system has been designed, and this will increase the efficiency. It will also increase the safety, as well as give you better and clearer corneas in the postoperative period. Let's take another look at the simple mechanism by which we can improve the efficacy that many of us subconsciously tend to wave the Phaco probe around, thinking that it can help to either mechanically break down the nucleus or somehow enhance the vacuum and the followability, but this does not happen. The best followability and the best responsiveness of the Phaco machine occurs when you tend to hold the Phaco probe very steady in the anterior chamber, somewhere in the middle of the anterior chamber, and then apply and let the Phaco dynamics take its course of action. This also makes the surgery look more elegant and gives you much better results. Finally, let's take a look at how the epinucleus is removed without waving the phaco probe around. Keep the phaco probe in the center, allow the fluidics to propel the epinucleus towards the center. In this case, I'm creating a mild twirl to drive the phaco tip. I'm not waving it around, just twirling it slightly. This will also enhance fallibility. I hope I sent my message across clearly. Thank you for your attention.